brothers and sisters, my generals, welcome to another edition of EBX Discussion. And as I always like to say, if we are alive and breathing, we are back to conquer another day, another year, and another decade. And let's get to those honors, shall we? I honor thy ancestors, those who fought hard to get many of us in that divine space that a lot of us are in. It's wonderful, isn't it? So just stay with it, my brothers and sisters, my family, as we have seen, as I always say, we never lag or get stuck in the past, but we extract the needed tools, to make for, a wonderful present. So we can make for a righteous future. You know what I'm saying? And as I said, one more time, I kind of brushed over honor thy ancestors. I take that serious. I honor thy ancestors, those who fought hard to get many of us in that divine space that we are in. So be thankful for that, and just stay strong, my brothers and sisters. And I salute the current subscribers and new subscribers. I will forever be grateful, because I don't know about other content creators or other brothers and sisters that speak or whatever, but I take this serious, and I walk with that divine. I talk with that divine. I don't mess around with that positive force. And there's many others like me, like in my family, other brothers and sisters. The reason why I don't play with it, because that positive force, great divine, has brought me through so many challenges. So that's why I don't take life for granted. And as I say on this channel, I try to go above and beyond. That's why I honor thy ancestors, man. Before all this technology shit that really got to marinate meditate, and think about like Shaka Zulu and those in that time, and just think of they had little or nothing and still fought and stood tall and fought for their right to be a human, to be black. You know what I'm saying? To know that we're not just a color. We are beautiful, brilliant, melanated brothers and sisters, and we all can have something to bring to the table. That's why I want to talk about divine confidence and cling to that divine force and rise above social media or person, place, or thing. And I talked about a podcast been a few months ago, and it's called Never Live by the Expectations of Social Media or Others. And on the podcast, on the banner, it shows a picture of nature, the banner and the thumbnail of nature, because I call them nature podcasts. So welcome to another nature podcast. And I'm telling you, we have to keep our minds elevating higher than this social media, because social media can be very, very tricky. Now, a lot of us that are awakened, I'm talking about truly awakened to the pit of the soul, social media can't F with us, but that's why it's getting more and more tricky. And, some are under attack and all that stuff. But like we say, it's chess, not checkers, right? So some of us need to focus on that. We move like checkers, and of course, don't go with the flock. Don't do what everybody else doing, go against the grain righteously, When everybody else go left, we go right. When everybody else go right, we go left. As long as we are cling to what? That great, great divine. And always and forever, brothers and sisters, rise above social media, person, place, or thing. Anything that want to keep us in a small space. No, we have to expand. Those of us that are awakened and, are on fire, brother or sister, young or old, we don't have time to get pulled back. No, we are reaching for higher things, higher goals, for ourselves and others. As I always say, children, family, significant other, if we have one, always got to keep our mind connected to that great, great divine, Mother Nature, and Father Time. You appreciate those three forces, man, you'll breeze through life, and I normally say amongst the challenges and all that, but when you have really focused and really have become true to oneself, because I know we hear this a lot, but when we do, brothers and sisters, I don't care what comes at us, we'll be able to handle it. But you have to be in that mindset. We have to be mature and somewhat educated, self-aware, of course, And I'm not just talking about agrees. Well, yeah, we should agree with that divine, but I'm not talking about degrees. That's wonderful too. But if we're not self-aware to the pit of the soul, what the fuck is the degree gonna do? It's not gonna do anything. Cause if as I have experienced in the past, I've met, some brothers, maybe some sisters that been to college, and it's like they were educated, but they didn't have any common sense. You know what I'm saying? As common as it can be, because as I heard from a great brother, it's not too common these days, especially with this social media in play. It's bringing out the worst in individuals. And as I'll say, when I first started, I was almost caught up until I began to become more aware of one's actions or reactions and how much time we spend on social media and all that. I know we hear these things, but when you see it come into play, when you see it in individuals, how this social media has taken over their lives, and like I say, it's cool to have fun and you do selfies and stuff, but just don't let it consume us and be our whole life and make us become a robot where we're not aware of what we're doing. So that's just me, but we can have fun with it. But again, like I said, don't let it make us become toxic and doing stupid shit just to get likes and views and all that. And speaking on that, something that was tinkering around in my spirit yesterday, and this is just my own conclusion, my own opinion. It's not how many views we get. It's who viewing. That's what's important. I've never got caught up in the viewing and the attention and all that. Even though others that maybe not know me or whatever might assume that. But when we're confident in that divine, we don't worry about things like that. We follow with that divine force, because that divine will speaks to us, and it speaks to all of us. I don't care who we are, what we call it, what we put on it, what guy we think we're following. That our intuition is actually, great divine speaking to us. Our intuition, impulses, instincts, all that is connected to that divine spirit. That's what it speaks to, because a great divine can't really speak to us on the outside. It has to get us on the inside. That's why you hear the real like-minded teachers that really know about that divine spirit. We say that God's spirit deep within, because it's something that we can't see. It's something that we can only feel. Maybe see, but it depends on what level. We have to really be at a high level. I mean, a super high level of self-awareness to see that God force. But most of the time, we're gonna feel it deep within. Reason for that, so we can manifest it on the outside. So, man, clinging to that, if you really truly cling to that divine force deep within, and as I said, we all get that. The intuition, instincts, that's what that is. That's that God force. When we get things coming through our psyche and stuff like that, the divine gets in there, but we just have to listen. And that's what I have learned. I've seen, learned from other teachers and others that really take this divine force serious, because again, cling to that divine force and rise above social media, person, place, or thing. Again, you will breeze through life. It's the ultimate freedom. And educate oneself, learn self-reliance, so we won't be in that victim mentality. And I want to go back to the views. Like I said, I've never really been, once I became aware and was not consumed by social media, the world, celebrities, TV, people beefing, these comedians beefing, which is fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and no one's better, just different. But if a brother or sister is toxic or have been doing something that doesn't have integrity and that is hurting maybe the culture or, like I said, comedians and stuff like that, yes, of course it need to be talked about. But let's do it to look for a solution, not to debate or talk about each other and joning and all that bullshit. That's stuff that kids do. I don't like to see grown men joning on each other and going back and forth unless it's out of fun. But if it's to hurt someone, it's stupid. All that joning shit, talking about each other. If it's not in fun and it's to hurt someone or be sarcastic and you're not looking for a solution and you're just debating and going back and forth, it's ridiculous and it's a waste of energy. That's why we must cling to that divine force. And something I have learned on this walk, everything doesn't have to have a response. That's the response. Excuse me. That's the most powerful thing one can do. I don't care how much it hurts. If a person is not touching you physically, clinging to that divine force helps with all this stuff that I'm talking about, because I have experienced it and I've seen it in others' life. That's what one has to do. Take that divine force serious. We all, like I said, we all get that divine voice deep within. It's just a matter of listening to it. And I don't care if it's brother, sister, young or old, because no one is more powerful than that divine force. Mother Nature, Father Time, runs this whole shit. So I don't care what nobody say. You can do, say, whatever. It doesn't matter. Nothing is more powerful than that great divine force. And as I always say, that's what always brings one back to reality and centers us when we know that force runs it all. I don't care what entities of the world try to think they conquer and run it. They ain't running shit. It's whatever great divine allows to happen. That's what I've learned on this walk. Great divine allows certain things to happen, so things can be manifested and people can open their eyes. Some people just don't open their damn eyes. Real talk. Sorry for the cursing, but that's how passionate and how serious I take that divine force. But back to the views. Again, and once I became aware and not consumed by social media anymore, this is the mindset I started taking. It's not how many views we get. It's not how many subscribers we get. It's who subscribing. It's who is viewing us. That's what's important to me. So that's why you don't really see me pushing myself. I might post things on Twitter sometimes. I still call it Twitter. I know it's something else, but I still post on Twitter sometimes. I think I've posted on Facebook here recently, but it's been months. I don't like to do it all the time because I don't know, it just keeps me fresh in that divine. I don't let myself become stale. I don't have to be out there like that. Like I say, it doesn't matter how many views we get. It's who views, So once you kind of get out of that, you protect oneself, brother or sister. You protect yourself from judgment or misunderstandings and let people think what they want, The art of not caring or not giving a damn. But I mean, not things that are important, though. Just like I said, if you're confident in that divine, views, subscriptions, being noticed, attention, none of that shit won't even matter. So I'm telling you, the great divine knows us better than we know ourselves. Also can see things down the road that we can't see. That's why we have to do what that divine force tells us to do. Something that be in my spirit from time to time, that force speaks to me and says to me, it's that force, that great divine tells one, do as I say, walk with thy brother, walk with thy family, walk with thy sister. I don't care how you feel, stand with them. And that's what what I get from that great divine. That's what it tells me, and that force also speaks to one and tells me that we're not supposed to understand the great divine. You tell me one time in our lives when we have experienced something divine that it was something we understood. Most of the time it's something we don't understand right away, but we do down the road. That's how that great divine works. We're not supposed to understand some things, but if we're with that divine, we're confident in that divine. We know that there's a righteous motive and a reason why that great divine allows certain things to happen in our life, but you have to be in that space to see it. Like I said, you really have to have a high level of self-awareness to see that great divine move. Again, like I say, cling to that divine force and rise above social media and or person, place, or thing. And go deep into that inner core and build a relationship with that great divine force. And I want to read a summary about having divine confidence, because when you truly have divine confidence deep within your soul, little dumb shit on the outside, you just observe it. You won't involve yourself in it, because a lot of the stuff we see on social media, it's ridiculous. It really is what people are doing, and they can't see what it's doing to us. It's the new drug, So, people judging about, drinking and smoking and all that. Hey, to me, social media is worse than that, So if you got your psyche in check and, your mind, body, and soul, and you're controlling what you see, hear, and feel, you have nothing to worry about. Real talk. So again, cling to those divine forces, and without the smoking and the drinking, that's just examples, So there's anything can be a habit, can be a toxic habit if you keep doing it and you don't have control over it and you just floating through life. Of course, it's gonna take you down that wrong path and have you doing things that you wouldn't normally do. I'm talking about social media, So, and it takes studying, it takes time. You have to put work into studying one's psyche, what we channel into it, and all that good stuff. So, and like I say, I put a disclaimer. I'm not this perfect brother, I've never been to college and I don't have no degree, but I tell you one degree that we all have, and that's a degree of experiences of life. If you pay attention, and like I say, you extract those needed tools of the past, but we don't lag. Man, we could be the best teacher. We'll be our own best teacher, and we'll learn that prevention, and we'll teach that prevention to others. Ounce of prevention, as I like to say. I know we heard this before, but I just like to keep it in one spirit. And, ounce of prevention is always worth a pound of great cures. Wonderful, because when you stay sharp and you stay studying and researching and reading and, and learning more and more and more about human behavior. First, it starts with ourselves, of course. Remember, like I always say, start with ourselves, our family, work our way out. I say that a lot. But when we do study human nature and ourselves, in that God spirit and doing the right thing, and we start having those aha moments and results, and man, it becomes fun to get solutions, and it's wonderful when we get in that mindset and we're not consumed by social media, not the toxic part of it. So I want to read this summary about having divine confidence, and here we go. This will be another meditative moment, and thank those that's been riding along. I appreciate you, and thank you for coming with me. And we floating through the sky right now. We up in the clouds. That's why I got this video here. That's why I got this, because that's why I've said this before. That's why you see me doing so many podcasts where it's nature and I'm up in the universe or mountains or clouds, because I'm trying to stay sane. One is trying to stay sane and stay above petty shit and not get stuck in my own feelings and all that, and rise above social media and cling to that great divine. It's wonderful, but we have to go through levels, go through the process. We have to be right in our heart, the best way we can. Not always this perfect person, but striving to do that. And maybe we will become almost perfect, because a great divine know none of us are perfect. That's why we have to study human nature, especially ourselves. All right, so let's read this summary. I want to read it. Okay. Confidence in that great divine, multifaceted word that encompasses within, hold on. Excuse me, y'all, hold on. Okay, we're going to start over. Confidence in that divine, multifaceted word that encompasses within the thought range of aspects. A divine thought of range of aspects, because you got that divine confidence in that great divine, certainly, and assurance of one's relationship with that great divine. It's an insurance when we have confidence in it, when we cling to it, a sense of boldness, and that is dependent on a realization of one acceptance by that great divine, and a conviction that one's destiny is secure in that great divine. I'm going to read another little summary. Spiritual confidence, aka inner peace, is that clear certainty within you that cannot be affected by internal or external instability. Because we have that's why I would say, a lot of us say, go deep within. When you have spiritual confidence, aka inner peace, is that clear. It's a clear certainty within you that cannot be affected if you study this and you cling to that divine force. No internal or external instability, so that's what I say. We have to work on that inner. That's why you hear so many of us talk about that inner. And I've learned this and experienced this. And again, I've seen it in other brothers and sisters' life and one's family life, because everyone goes through that transformation stage, whether they do it willingly or life makes us go through it one way or another. all of us are going to have that divine choice after we go through our young stage and where they're fumbling and messing up, and where we go through that period where we're young and we think we're invincible, invincible, and think we're going to be young forever. Okay. But all of us get that moment, that fork in the road, so to speak, where we'll have to make a choice. We all go through that. And that's that pivotal point in our lives that will determine the rest of our life. Because as I said in the past, my own little statistic, brother or sister, I think the ages between the ages of 10 to 30, maybe 35, those are very vital years of our life, because things become more challenging when you start getting into those 40s and 50s, because you're becoming more aware. Most of the time, you're more wiser, and you see things a little different. So what we do in our younger years will matter in our later years. It's a fact. Really, it is a fact. So like I say, none of us are perfect. We all individuals, brother or sister, young or old. We all live different roles, different lives. But as I said a few minutes ago, everyone comes to that fork in the road where we have to make a choice. Is this what we're going to do when we continue? Remember, 10 to 35. After 35, you better have your shit together. I'm telling you. That's why, and I say this because, a lot of us have been through struggles and, been through things that we thought we would never get through. And, I'll use myself as an example. I was homeless at one time before, and that's just one of many things I've been through. But if I didn't have that strong connection with that great divine, because I've always had that connection, that great divine was just waiting on me to get my shit together. Real talk. That's why I say I don't like when people say they're waiting on God. Stop saying that shit. No, God's waiting on us. The real God now, not that false shit. God's waiting on us. It gives us the tools. It gives us signs all through our lives. We just don't pay attention to it sometimes, So, but at some point in our lives, great divine gonna slap us right in the face and say, hey, this is your last chance. You better get it together. But the force never leaves us. We leave it. So that's why we have to study that inner and have a relationship and cling to that divine force. And again, rise above social media, person, place, or thing. Get to know oneself. Make yourself a project. Love yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you'll have love for others. And like I say, when you study, when you cling to that divine force, when you know you got that confidence deep within. I'm talking about knowing. Not like knowing everything, but when you finally know yourself and you have the art of not caring, we will thrive. And we all could, if we all brothers and sisters would think like this collectively, I'm telling you, we would be some powerful brothers and sisters. Because I've said so many times, if we on a righteous road, we got a right heart, and we all reaching the same goal and the same purpose, different ways, but the same righteous peace that so many of us want. We all part of the same tree, just different branches, as long as we're righteous now. Because I use the tree as an example to describe different brothers and sisters, maybe have different platforms and stuff like that. I'm talking about the real ones now, the ones that mean well, so we all part of the same tree. And remember, if it's righteous now to the pit of the soul and it's trying to help this humanity, every part of a tree matters, small or big. Remember, the twigs, the leaves, the branches, the bark, every part of a tree matters when it's righteous. So let's be part of a righteous tree. Let's have those roots, rooted deep within the soil. Man, it's beautiful, man. And I'm telling you, we'll produce so many righteous things in our life. I've seen it, and I've seen it in others, brothers and sisters in the world or online in my family, and I've seen things come to pass when we cling to that divine force. It's wonderful, so that was just some things that was in my spirit. These are things that helped me, and I want to say believe, but I truly know in the pit of my soul that there is a divine force out there that watches over us, even when we're not paying attention, because sometimes that great divine has something for us. That's why it sticks with us, even when we do fumble and make a mistake, because great divine knows our heart. So, and that's the only being that we have to prove something to, as well as ourselves. We prove having integrity and sharing to others and teaching others and passing that great energy to other brothers and sisters. We do this all for that great divine. We prove it to that force. And in the future, that great divine will make sure we all shine. Again, like I said, cling to that divine force and rise above social media, brothers and sisters, and be the generals that we are. Because like I said, I see nothing but generals out there. That's in my family, that's in the world, and online. So I'm going to say one more time, cling to that divine force, brothers and sisters. Please don't be beefing and getting consumed, and have fun with social media. But come on, y'all. We more powerful than this. Especially my melanated brothers and sisters. We are so much more powerful than this social media shit. Real talk. So rise above it, man, to be the divine generals that we always have been and that we are. Salute.